Now, if you want to know how to do this effect right here, keep watching because I'm going to show you how to do it in Shotcut. So the effect that you just saw is a simple blur in track effect. This effect is a video editing technique where a blur is applied to a specific subject or area of the video, and it dynamically follows it as it moves throughout the frame. This basically means that the blur is directly linked to the motion of the subject or object that you're tracking. And this effect is commonly used for blurring faces for privacy reasons, hiding sensitive information, and some even use it to create a focus point for a stylistic emphasis. Now, there are many different ways to achieve this effect in Shotcut, but I found this specific way to be the easiest and fastest. All you need is to have your clip ready in the timeline and make sure it's selected. And let's add our first filter by going to the filters tab and clicking on this little plus icon. From there, search for the motion tracker filter and click on it to add it. What you want to do now is to make sure that the playhead is at the start of the clip or at the starting point where you want the tracking to begin. Then if you see in the preview window, we have this box right here. Now this is our tracking box, and we can now adjust its size with these handles and place it to the subject or object that we want to track it to. In this case, it's going to be my face. Once that's set to size, we can come back to our settings and name our tracking data because we'll need it for later. From there, you can leave the rest of the settings as is and click on Analyze. You should see a separate window appear and the analysis process should start. Now that it's done, let's go back and save it as a preset. We can go back to the settings where it says preset and click on the little plus icon. Then you should get a small pop-up where you can name your new preset and save it because, like I said, we'll need it for later. Next is to add another filter. So let's click on the plus icon and type in mask, then select mask simple shape. You should immediately see another box outline similar to our tracking box. Now we can also adjust it where you want the effect to be added. I'll just make sure it matches our tracking outline, which should be this green outline here. Once it's adjusted to your liking, we can go ahead and leave the rest of the settings as is just for now because we will have to come back and adjust it a little bit more. The next filter that we have to add is the actual blur or distortion filter that you want to use to cover that area. Now you can pick your favorite one, but if we go back and add the next filter again, clicking on the plus icon, you can type in blur and you can see all the different types of options it gives you and you can select your favorite from there. However, I actually like the mosaic filter a little bit more, so I'll go with that. But remember, any type of blur or distortion filter will work. In my case, once the mosaic filter is added, you can see that the whole scene is affected, but we can fix that in a bit. What I do want to do is adjust the strength of this effect, and if you picked a certain blur filter, you should have some controls off to the side that you can adjust and customize the strength of the blur or the distortion effect. For this mosaic filter, I have a width and height slider right here, which I can drag in either direction to intensify or soften the effect. Now that I have it to my liking, let's go ahead and fix this filter. That way it only affects the area that I want to distort. Let's go back to the plus icon and add another filter, and we'll go ahead and type in mask. But this time we're going to go ahead and select the apply mask option. As you can see, the mosaic filter only affects the area where we masked it off with the mask simple shape filter from earlier. And that's all there is to this specific filter. Now we're not done yet because if I go ahead and play the clip, you'll see that the blur does not follow our tracking outline at all. And that's because we still have a few adjustments to make to the mask simple shape filter. So let's go back to that filter, and before we fix it, I first want to fix a few things so that the blur looks a little bit better and covers the area well. And the first thing I will do is change the shape type of that mask from rectangle to an ellipse. And you can see on the preview window that the mask shifted just a little, but I can actually click on the little box handles to make it a little bit bigger so that it covers my face entirely. And I'm done. You can always come back to these settings and explore the extra adjustments that you can make to the mask. Now, to fix the tracking issue with the mosaic effect, all you have to do is remain on the mask simple shape filter and scroll down till you see this button, load keyframes for motion tracker. This is where our tracking data preset will come in. Just click on the button and a window will open up, and first we will pick our preset from this motion tracker drop down menu, which I named B1. Right below that is the adjust drop down menu, which you will want to select absolute position for the best results. Right below that, make sure that the option from start is checked and then just click apply. That window should close, and if we click play, you can see that the mosaic filter is tracked to the movement of my subject. Now, I will say that I've read instances where the motion tracking preset data either doesn't appear or does not work when it's applied. Now, if that happens to you, all you have to do is make sure that you save the motion tracking preset data, go ahead and close Shotcut and reopen it, and it should appear or work from there. Now, one thing that you may have noticed is that this green tracking outline is still visible. Well, we want to make sure that that outline is disabled before you export. And in order to do that, you just go back to the motion tracking filter and then scroll down. And then you'll see this little check besides show preview setting. Just uncheck that box and the outline will go away. But that's how you can make this blur and track effect in Shotcut. If you want a more in-depth explanation of how this motion tracking filter works, I've actually made a video on it explaining everything you need to know about motion tracking in Shotcut. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that video.